Greetings and salutations. Welcome to NasCanucks, presented by Vibraprint, your auto racing podcast, live right here on the YouTube Q&A. We're talking NASCAR, we're talking Indycar, we're talking Pinty Series. Why not? Welcome. I'm Ben. This is Doug. Let's get right down to it because, we came back last week, but we had to wait a few more days before auto racing returned to North America because we took the Olympic break, even though none of them are involved with the Olympics.
No.
But okay, sure. So let's forgot a series. ARCA is well in competition last weekend. Let's start off with the ARCA race.
Yeah.
Which had
did they show that here?
What's that?
Did they show that here?
No.
Okay.
So, long story short, from what they gathered, because they didn't show it in this country. Hey, Jeremy, we'll get to your question in a moment. There was a lot of ringers, if you will, in the ARCA race, which was awesome. So it was a good, healthy car count. Saw that throughout the weekend.
Yeah, because they were told that, some of them wanted to run the truck series, a la Ross Chastain, and we're told, it's our final race before the playoffs, so you cannot run this race after he announced it.
Although A.J. Allmendinger ran the truck race.
Because he's not a cup driver.
Oh.
I think. I don't know.
Apples and oranges. Hey, Guitar Man 45. By the way, buddy, we talked about you on last night's show. I hope you saw that. Try those things. See if they helped. Other channel. He's got issues. We can't see him in my chat over on the other channel. So
he's got issues. I ain't talking about my issues here.
So was it young Ty Gibbs won the race? In the
Which one? ARCA?
Yeah.
No.
Who won that?
Corey Haim. Don't call him Haim.
Oh, that's it.
Yes.
Not Corey Haim. Corey Haim. Right. So he did that. There's a few wrecks. So we got question for Doug. When is that 19 going to have a car that can go the distance? So much short run speed, not for the long run later in the race. It's pretty consistent this weekend.
Yeah. I think it'll come. I've got no fear.
Yeah. So, let's go right into the trucks then. Trucks last race headed into the playoffs. I already talked to you about it. One of the highlights for me of the truck race was because we had I like to go fast up in the booth. And Canadian boy Stuart Friesen had the old helmet cam on. And Joey's like, yeah, your head really moves around out on the track there. Like, wait, watch when he goes into turn one. His head, he's going to just be looking at the floor because the braking is so tough. And you see it, and it's a little beep. And all I thought of was, because Friesen has a man's neck, and he can hold up a helmet and all those teeth. So,
So just to go on with Jeremy Smith about Chastain ran the truck race too, right? As we said, almost. He announced it, and then someone went and said, I think it was Bob Parker who said, sorry, you can't. Because he hadn't run one before? I don't know what it was.
And he's a cup driver.
No, yeah, he hadn't run one before. That would have been his first race. Because he still has his 5 races.
Oh, right.
So he then said, I can't run the race? My brother can run the race. So that's why there was a Chastain in the 45 truck.
There we are. As I figured, trucks were going to put on the race of the weekend, and pretty much did. I really dug it.
A lot of guys cutting grass.
Well, that's why I like the trucks. You just just put her in 4 low if they have that. If they got the cheating parts, just put her in 4-wheel drive and just give
How
her.
How about the guy that did not want to see turn 1, Ben Rhodes? How many times did he get spun in turn 1?
Geez, just run right over, which it was a theme across motorsports this weekend.
They picked one driver each race.
Yep.
For turn 1 is what it seemed.
And so, excuse me. It was really interesting. The shocker for me, because unlike during the Cup race where they did not show the points once under like green flag conditions, these are how they run, which tells you that there ain't a big story on. These are how they're running right now. We'll see how they shake up in the next week or two. But in the truck race, they're showing it, and then they show, here's the points if they enter the playoffs now. Can I just say Nemechek pretty much has the title? Because
they're showing that if they enter the playoffs right now because that was the last race before the playoffs.
I know that, which was good. Unlike the other series where NBC apparently isn't aware that they're getting close to the points, and traditionally with 3 to 4 races to go, you start talking about the cutoff line and stuff like that. But yeah, when they showed Nemechek, he between race wins, stage wins, stage points, this, that, and the other, the guy's got, what was it, 50 playoff points, or like he's won. I think, or he's at least made it to the Final Four. I think he's already transferred to the Final Four at this point. Thoughts?
Yeah, it could be.
Okay. And so it was a good race. Good competitive race. And did Nemechek end up winning that one?
No. Called early because of lightning.
Oh, right.
Austin Hill wins.
Right. Yeah, and that was fine. It was near the end. So
yeah.
Which means we got a Canuck in the playoffs.
So playoff standings. Here it goes. So Joe Nemechek, John, son of Joe, is first right now with 249 points. He is way ahead of Austin Hill in second with 221. Yeah. Ben Rhodes with 219. Todd Gilliland. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. Yeah, Todd, son of David.
I can't remember which is which. I don't care for either of them.
They both run the same.
Yeah, I wrote the family off ages ago.
Sheldon Creed, 2011 in fifth. Zane Smith in
not Zach
sixth.
Smith.
No, not Zach. Zane Smith in sixth with 2009. Matt Crafton, 2004 in seventh. Eighth is Carson Hocevar. Ninth is Chandler Smith. And coming up the rear with 2001 points in 10th is Canadian Stuart Friesen.
I want to point out Carson Hocevar there quietly just dipped right in there. He gets mentioned during races, but it's not like he's right up in the hunt week to week. So that's great on him. Great on Stuart Friesen. Good to see. And so, head into the playoffs with the trucks. So that brings us to the Xfinity Series. And those guys always put on a good show as well, especially on road courses. Mm-hmm. And then we got to see the new back cam, which I don't normally talk about production, but
that was awesome.
Did that ever show the speed?
Yes.
And Junior's voice level matched the action that the back cam showed, because only here they're going, and you knew it was a good race and a lot of action because they were doing the radio style broadcast where everyone's
I loved having Mike Bagley on that broadcast.
Yes, Mike Bagley, awesome. Because he has that radio voice, which is great. But I noticed when the action was intense, I couldn't tell where Junior left off and Jeff Burton picked up, because both of them were up here talking. Mike
Bagley's doing that every week.
Yeah.
Right? So.
It was great.
Yeah, so Jeremy Smith is saying about the have they always been able to be able to use a ridiculous amount of runoff, especially coming off that corner after the bus stop?
Yeah, because it used to be a sandbox, and we'd have 14 cautions where you would take 5 laps to dig someone out of the sand. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Remember, they used to have sand in turn 1. Speaking of which, this past week was the anniversary of Jimmy Johnson. Phew. That was actually the day last Wednesday, because it was the day after you left. You hit the highway, I hit Twitter, and they went, "Happy anniversary, Jimmy Johnson." I'm like, oh, that's a fan I like. Driving the 92. Yep.
So the turn 1 victim for the Xfinity race was Hemrick.
Yep.
Seemed like he was spinning every chance he got in turn 1 off every restart.
Yep. Young Gibbs put on a show.
Yep.
Young Gibbs put on a show. It was interesting because I was on the Twitter, and I'm seeing a lot of perceived. I'm going to call it perceived hate, but really, Doug, it's manufactured hate.
Oh yeah.
Okay, manufactured. No, wait, manufactured hate, and then the defense of young Ty Gibbs, and the comments I was seeing is, oh, you all are fine cheering for Kyle Busch to win all these races, but you're getting down on Ty Gibbs because he's religious. First of all, Doug, have you ever attended a NASCAR race where the overall crowd was cheering on Kyle Busch? Ever?
No.
Even at his home track?
No.
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 And have you ever heard a chorus of boos for Ty Gibbs after a race?
No. Not fully.
Right. But the way the fans on Twitter were going on, there's a, you love Kyle Busch. Why don't you love Ty? Because they're already calling him the second coming of Kyle Busch, of course.
Maybe those people were just having a dyslexic day.
Well, and the thing is, I'm not taking anything away from Ty right now, but you know as well as I know, a lot of it is equipment up until the Cup level, to a certain extent. Like, I'm not saying Ty isn't a great driver because he's obviously winning a lot of races, but if you and I got in the Gibbs equipment and ran an ARCA race, we're going to finish top 5, and we're
sure.
old and broken. That's what I'm saying, and I think that's all the way up through Xfinity.
Oh, and
once he hits the Cup, let's see what happens. I'm not calling him the second coming of Kyle Busch yet.
Don't give me this crap. Oh, he's just got the best Gibbs equipment. Gibbs don't run like that. Okay, everyone is given the same stuff.
Yeah, well, and that 54 has been pretty dominant no matter who's behind the wheel of it.
Yeah.
So it is decent equipment. I'm not saying it's dominant by Xfinity, but it's definitely a leg up.
Yeah.
So we'll wait and see with that kid. So who ended up winning the Xfinity race? Ty Gibbs.
You kind of threw me there for a second.
Right. Hey.
Yeah.
Summertime. I've been imbibing. So, he drove the wheels off of it. Like, even Allmendinger said, the guy ran me clean, and I had nothing for him. So, that's Dinger. So,
yep.
Which brings us into the Cup Series.
Cup Series.
Which who was the guy that race that kept getting hit and having issues?
Having issues?
Oh yeah, there's
brake issues.
I was gonna say there was one guy that kept getting taken out in turn 1, but he was taking himself out, and that is
Well, that's the guy that's leaving that team that he's having brake issues.
Yep. And ironically enough, the car that he's going to be headed to seems to be the one that gets the short end. Ryan Newman gets run over randomly. It seems like every road course.
Oh, there was the one there where Austin Dillon kind of gave him the old little, okay, excuse me. And then if I was Austin Dillon, my ass would have been puckered the whole next lap because Newman was like on his bumper the whole time.
Yep.
And it's like, just spin me out already because I know that's what you're thinking.
Exactly. And I want to say pretty strong car counts throughout the weekend, NASCAR and ARCA, as well as Indy. More on that later. Brad just had he seemed to have it sorted out towards the end because we saw him running with the leaders at the end of the race, and he was a little off the pace, but he was definitely more competitive at least. But it was interesting. It was one of those because guys were on different strategies, which was really cool. I dug it. I was curious when I saw Kevin Harvick cycle to the front if he was going to stay there.
Well, and I was going to say that it was nice to see him running up in top 10.
Yeah, because because I started thinking about my prediction last week. I'm like, did I predict that correctly? Like, he might not win another race because he's usually pretty damn competitive on the road courses. So Chris refuses to answer turn one.
So here I did listen to an interview with Christopher Bell. Here was Bell's take on that, and take his take for what it's worth. So he was racing Truex for the lead.
Yes,
cleanly. He was going for the clean pass,
right?
And then Larson just dive bombed him, right? So I think that's what he was like. You know what? I'm racing the guy clean to try and take the lead, and then you dive bomb me, right? And even Kyle said after the race, yeah, he dive bombed him, right? So,
which, by the way, I believe I predicted Kyle Larson for the win last week.
You did, yep.
Which, he had a good car, and as much as the booth was rooting for Chase Elliott to make a race out of it, Chase used up his stuff. Just getting up to Larson, which was fine with me because it's Chase Elliott.
Yep.
So, starting to think about it, like Larson seems to be, I'm going to say, the odds-on favorite for the title.
So, funny enough, talking about this here, standings.
Yes,
right?
because Larson won. There we go.
So Kyle gets the win. Larson gets the win.
Yep.
He is now tied with Denny Hamlin for points. They are tied going into the next race.
Right.
Both with 900.
Denny seems like he's done nothing in a month and a half, right? Because he's just quietly banking points.
They both have 917 points. Kyle has 5 wins. Denny has 0.
Right.
And they both have 12 top 5s. So you're showing that when he's just outside that top 5, Hamlin's having the more consistent season.
Yeah. The Matt Kenseth season.
Yes.
Which, nothing wrong with that.
And really for other stuff, you're getting William Byron in third, right?
Yeah, because he was hot early in the year.
Kyle Busch in 4th, Logano 5th, Elliott is 6th, Truex 7th, Blaney in 8th, Harvick is 9th, and Keselowski is 10th. Now that's points as in points standing.
Right.
So that doesn't take the win and everything else.
That's not the amortized, playoff point structure, but this is to get in, pretty much. And the thing is, like, you say, it doesn't include like the wins. Well, guess what?
That's old.
Unless you're Michael McDowell, you're within the points you have to get in anyways.
Yep.
Which, Doug's still just rooting that Denny doesn't win in the regular season. Because they've got to get to 15 winners. Oh, right. Right. And how many winners have there been?
I don't know.
9, probably. 10. Could be. Because Amarola, right?
Yeah.
We could be into the double digits for winners this year.
Let me look that up.
Why don't you look that up? Wouldn't you love to drive that track? Keith H., Watkins Glen is a very cool track. Probably my favorite on the circuit to probably drive on. Although the Roval would be fun, and we've only driven portions of the Roval.
Backwards.
Yep. Well, I don't know. I probably drove either way on every part of that infield at some point. But I was thinking, and it was interesting too, because I don't know about you, Doug, but if there's any race that's within, say, an 8-hour drive of us, I'm immediately spending as much time looking at the campsites during the race as the action. Like, well, that wouldn't be it, because I'm looking for a place to camp at Watkins Glen. The problem is I need an overhead view or a track map that shows me where the damn TVs are, right? If we don't have we'd have fan scans anyways. And I thought about that too by midpoint in the race. I was like, Chris, I don't watch the race on track action halftime at the Coke 600 anyways. I just sit in the lawn chair watching the big screen. Well, Jeremy, they're going to be doing a better job of equalizing the car, which I hate equalizing cars because then just running IROC. Yeah, the teams next year, the new next gen car is essentially a kit car. Very little will be built by the teams parts wise. And you say, yeah, the cars other than the tailpieces and the noses, pretty much the cars are universal as is. It's more or less power plants. I think Toyota's still making the most power. I think they need to get more towards GT cars. Make them look actually more like the street cars. They have the bitches and the moaners regarding aero. We need more deck. We need more spoiler. Screw it. No spoilers.
So we need 3 winners out of the next 3 races.
Okay. And so, speaking of which, yeah, well, before we preview on that, let's talk about the inaugural Nashville, what do they call it? The Nashville Grand Prix, we'll just call it, I guess. Street race.
I didn't get to see it, so.
I dug it. Obviously incorporating the Korean Veterans Memorial Bridge both ways. They just scoot across the bridge, turn around, scoot back across the bridge, and that's kind of what it is, more or less. It was interesting. They did a kind of a mid-Ohio thing where for the first green flag of the race, they started more or less on the bridge. So lots of it, no problem. After that, shit show on restarts. Because they had an issue on the first lap, and then there was the restart. And Magnus Eriksson, speaking trends, Sebastian Bourdais, for the 3rd time this season, gets run over on a restart. Because, guys get a little brake checky or whatever. And Magnus, hit him and just launched himself into the air. And I thought his day was done, but nope. He won. He won the race. For his second win, after not winning for 8 years, second win of the season. Poor, what's his name there? Colton Herta. He had the car to beat. He was running down the leader near the end, and then he stuffed her in the wall. Poor guy, they had a camera on. He was just sitting there in the back of the truck crying about it. But, and speaking of Canadian content, our very own James Hinchcliffe, the mayor of Hinchtown, podium finishing 3rd.
Nice.
He basically kept off the walls and didn't get run over, which there was a lot of that. Cody Ware was running the race for what team does he run for, Doug?
Rick Ware Racing.
That's right. He was runner in the top 10 before he stuffed her in the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Johnson stuffed her in the wall during warm-up the morning of the race. They rebuilt the car. Then there was a red flag due to surprise, accident, gridlock, and they end up disqualifying Jimmy's team because during the red flag, as he said, I'll be honest, I don't know the rules of what you can and can't do during red flag, and I know in NASCAR you can't do anything, and apparently that's the same thing in IndyCar, because apparently just putting the thing up on the air jacks is enough to violate, which that's a little dirty billiards. But then again, I don't think you can jack up. Yeah, I don't think you can jack up a NASCAR car once the red flag's out. Like if it's already jacked up, fine, but yeah. So basically, don't touch the car. So other than that, there's a few little kinks here or there, but yeah, it's a street course. These things happen. But yeah, it was a good race, really good race. So I think it's going to be. I hope it was successful as far as on their end. So. Yeah, that's the deal. Oh, and excellent car count. 27 cars, which normally by this time of the year, you see 23, 22, maybe 24 on a good day. But 27 cars out there was really good to see. I was just reading Jeremy's comment. They've already vetted pit crews over the last 5 years. It's they've eliminated 2 guys. Let's see. 1. Yeah, they've 2, 3. They've eliminated 3 members of the pit crew in the last number of years.
I think so.
Catch Fan Man and both tire carriers are gone.
Mm-hmm.
right? Because now it's just the 2 tire carriers, the jack man and the gas man. Oh, Terry woke up. That brings up to 5 watching. Nice. I dig the center lug thing. I don't see why. It's like there's certain things they just NASCAR drags their asses on for whatever reason in the 5 lugs. You know what? The great thing is now you got a loose wheel. You really got a loose wheel now.
Yeah.
And none of us running 4 lugs until the top of the race, which a lot of teams were starting to do again.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
That and get rid of the gas can. Why don't you just have a fuel hose?
Yeah. So the one other race we didn't touch on last week that we forgot about?
The Pinty's race.
Pinty's race. And they were at, where were they?
Same place they're at all season, aren't they? Sunset or Flamborough? It's one of the Sunset.
Yeah, they're at Sunset.
Yes.
Winner. Andrew Ranger on the pole for that race.
Uh-huh.
Winning that race, Raphael Lessard.
Really?
Yes.
I was wondering what he's been up to.
Yes, he is in the Pinty series.
Oh, well, there you are.
Second, DJ Kennington. Third, LP Dumoulin. Fourth, Trayton Lapsevich. And fifth, Brett Taylor.
Good to hear.
Other notables.
Largely running Sunset for most of the series this year.
Yeah, other notables, Alex Tagliani in 9th. Ranger finished 16th. And rounding out the field in 18th was Dexter Stacey.
Imagine that. Only 18 cars.
18 cars.
I remember that when they would run upwards of 30. Oh, we got 6 people watching. Nice. Welcome, 6th viewer. So preview, where are we off to this week?
Off to Indianapolis.
Right, that's it. Not even using the oval anymore. And a rare weekend, well, actually probably the first time, I dare say first time ever, Indycar and Cup Series at the same track on a weekend.
Yes.
We've had a lot of, well, for even in the 90s, the Truck Series ran with IndyCars, right? So there's always been a tradition there of that. But yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of, that would be a good weekend to attend. Like, you know, Doug, there's going to be like every gypsy's going to be there. All the, like there's going to be a lot of stuff going on outside of the track. So that would be a cool one to attend, not going to lie.
And just seeing Jeremy's poster about Jared Fitzpatrick, I think I would love to see him back full-time in that series because when he runs hard.
Yeah.
And
he hasn't been in that series in, 5 years now?
He raced last year. He raced the doubleheader at Flamborough last year.
Okay. But not full-time or anything?
No, he wasn't full-time. No, he came back.
No, he hasn't been a full-time in a number of years.
I forget which car he was in. What the owner was, but we know we've talked about it. I think you and I have talked about it. I'm not sure we talked about it on the show. Probably not because of when we were on our little thing. He's had his issues. It was with the Pro Late Model Series.
Right in the Can-Am Series. No. ACT. The American Canadian Tour.
Is that what that? I thought it was just a series here.
It's not the Oscar Series.
No, but it's
ACT, which is it's super late models. It's the same as Oscar, except they run traditionally back in the day. That was a cool series, Doug. I remember them when I was in high school. That was kind of where your junior Hanleys would run a handful of races, your Biedermans and stuff like that, because they ran a combination of. It was a combination of like Busch North. It was a stepping stone to Busch North. Cool. And for us, it was that transitional series to get you out of Canada into the U.S.
I remember Dick Trickle coming up here to run.
Yeah. Yeah. ACT would run at like Cayuga, Flamborough, Sunset, but then you also had New Hampshire, Thompson, the other one down near Thompson.
Which I believe just to your left, right there, is a former car, is it not?
No.
Isn't that one right there?
No. You think of the Darrell car?
Yeah.
That's a Hanley car, but that was used in ASA races.
Okay.
Mainly.
And for anyone that was watching last week, there was a 42 car right behind Ben.
Yep.
Underneath a hat.
Yep.
And for Ben, who didn't know that Burton ran the 31, it's right there. It's right there. Okay. We've seen that off air too.
Yeah.
Well,
as well as when I mentioned the Exide sponsor car, you were like, yeah, 164th. I got it. I'm like, no, right there. It was right behind you too.
Yeah.
Both of us.
But going back to J.R. Fitzpatrick, he had some issues there. Some guys were really just knocking the crap out of him, like because a couple of those guys in the series are just.
Well, that's the thing. It turned into a meatball series.
And he kind of went off on a couple guys, and there was one loudmouth where it went and said, well, if you think you're so good, why don't you go try running in the States? Didn't he run for JR2 in a Dale Jr. car?
Yeah. It was it might have been very early days of JR Motorsports, but it was still that kind of chance to JR2.
Yep.
Yeah. Did DJ Kennington also run for Dale Jr.?
I think he did run some races, yep.
Okay, and Ron Fellows as well.
Yep. Ron Fellows taught Jr. how to run a road course.
That's right.
Yeah. So Pinty Series, you'll hear us talk about the Pinty Series next week. They are off to
Sunset?
No.
Flamborough?
They are at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières.
Oh, so they are actually traveling. Because originally we had heard they were just going to run all the races at one or two tracks.
Oh, no. They go from there. That is the 15th. The 28th, they are doing the Lafleur 75 at the Circuit iCar.
You know what? Somebody needs to get a damn race going on up at that Mont Tremblant track. I don't know if you remember that. That was a wicked track when IndyCar ran there, like late days of IndyCar.
They are doing a bunch. They're doing 4 races in a row in Quebec.
Makes sense.
Then they come back for a double header.
And they just if it was still COVID, could they just quarantine and race together for 2 weeks in Quebec? And then they come back and do a little boring barn start.
Then they do a double header at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.
Sweet.
Then they do a double.
They don't use the Opal there anymore, eh?
Then they do a double header at Flamborough. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
A twin 125 for the old school Flamborough fans.
Nice.
Then they will do the Pinty's Fall Brawl at Delaware Speedway on September the 26th.
Cool. Yeah, they need to bring back the Mosport Oval. What's up with that, guys? It's right next door. It's right there. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good track. 5/8 mile. Okay banking. Kind of a North Wilkesboro in some ways.
Why don't they put a race at that track in Fort Erie that Jeff Gordon was going to build like 30 years ago?
I'll ask Jeff the next time I run into him.
Yeah.
See, that's why you've never seen Jeff Gordon at the track, Doug. He's avoiding me because he knows I'll ask.
Well, probably also, too, is I'm always looking straight ahead and he's a little...
Well, you'll miss him every time then.
Yeah.
Yeah. You only see Chad Knapp because you saw the shine off the top of the head.
Yeah.
So there we are. What else? Yeah, so we're headed to the Brickyard. You got a prediction?
It's another road course.
Yep.
Harvick.
I think Chase Elliott might win this one. Because it's a little more, because it's the Formula 1, it's a little more Roval-esque, and I know he's good at the twistier ones. Just saying. You say Harvick. I don't think Harvick's ever going to win again.
Yeah.
And now we're down to 3 people watching. Perfect.
Yeah. We can make it 0. We can make it 0, and I can say F Chase Elliott. But yeah.
You got a prediction for the Xfinity race?
Dinger.
Nice. I was thinking Dinger too. All right. Prediction for the IndyCar race.
Not Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, that's a given. he's been lucky to make it to the start. He's getting better. Kinda. Well, a few guys hit the wall during practice, so I'm going to go with Scott Dixon.
I think that's good.
Which, speaking of which, Scott Dixon is running for his 7th championship.
7-time.
Right. Another one. We have the potential to have, because he's doing that thing.
Whoa.
Whoa.
I mean, he's going to be 7-time in Jimmy Johnson's the 7-time from NASCAR, his first year in IndyCar, and Dixon's going to be 7. Well, coincidence, don't you think?
Well, he's not leading the points as of now, but he's doing that Scott Dixon thing. He'll be like 80 points out, and he just start chipping away. So, I think he's doing. And Palou was doing okay. He's leading the points, but I don't know, the twisty courses and stuff. He's not as good. So I don't know how the rest of the season pans out for IndyCar, but my money's on Dixon.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Do we have anything else to cover?
I haven't had a chance to look at any news, so
I don't think there has been really any news. They didn't mention anything over the course of the weekend.
Not really, no.
Maybe a handful of, hey, I got a sponsor for this race. Who cares? You're supposed to have that done back in February. You get those announcements. Welcome aboard Randy's Beef Jerky. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
They're sponsoring us at Bristol. Yay. All right. So saw a thing on Bristol today, them removing the dirt. Now it's back to concrete. Which is good, because I think they got a race coming up there soon.
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
Funny how that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I'm thinking, I don't think any silly season stuff, because we covered everything last week. We got all caught up on that. Still no word on a second car for the 2311 yet. Although it was nice to see MJ at the track.
I think it's going to be Kurt Busch.
There you go. I like that idea. I do.
Because then Kurt will then have driven every manufacturer.
Including Dodge.
I
believe he drove a Dodge at one point.
The 2-car was a Dodge, was it not?
At that time, probably. Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Yep.
So there we are. Perfect. I was thinking, it's like, is there anybody still in the series that ran a Pontiac? Nope.
Nope.
Like, yeah. Nope. Nope. All right. On that note, he's Doug. I'm Ben. This has been NasCanucks, presented by Vibraprint. Thanks, everybody that tuned in. If you haven't already, please subscribe and leave a thumbs up. If you're watching our replay, leave a comment down below.
Sure. See you, Marcus.